One of the skills you need in science is the ability to analyze data. In this class, we will often use spreadsheets for this purpose, and one of the skills that you must master is the ability to create a scatterplot graph based on instructions given to you. In this assignment, you can see that a task list has been given as part of an assignment, which tells you each step that you need to complete. There's a place for you to mark that you have completed a step by placing an X in these cells, and the cells to the right of it are where you can see the score that is given to you based on my evaluation of your work. Also note that at the bottom of this spreadsheet are a series of tabs for different components of the work you must complete. We're in the instruction tab right now, but when it comes time to go and build a data table and graph, you can see that there is an appropriate tab for that, and there's a wrap-up tab which includes questions you must answer. The first instruction is that you have to complete a data table using appropriate columns and units. We're going to go to the Data and Graph tab, and you can see I've already started the data table by typing in 2 data labels, or column labels. These have the unit being measured and a label for it. Everything is properly capitalized, and ideally it should be centered as well. Note that the horizontal alignment tool is located in the toolbar, and you can change centering very easily. At this point, we'd begin typing in data for 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and so on. And we'd add the data that we had collected during the lab. I'm going to make up some numbers here, but you would use numbers that you've found in the lab. For example, there's some data, we can use it. Probably a good idea to center this as well. It certainly makes it look like a completed product. We're going to check back to the instruction tab and mark off that we've completed the first step, and look at the second step. Enter your data from minute 1 to the end of the test. Well, it looks like we've done that as well. Mark X. Step 3 is to make a scatter plot of this data set. In order to accomplish this, we have to go back to the Data and Graph tab and create the scatter plot. A scatter plot is created by highlighting the column labels and data from your table and inserting a chart, which is located under the Insert menu. When you select this function, a box should pop up and a sample graph. The chart editor on the right side of the screen is where you'll make changes. This is a column chart. You were asked to make a scatter chart, so click on that option, scroll down the list and look for the scatter chart. You can see there are lots of options here. Once you do that, a scatter plot will appear in the graph area that you've created. You'll also want to do certain things to customize this graph. Customizing can be accomplished through the Customize tab of the chart editor. We've already changed the chart style, no need to play with that, but axis and titles might need some attention. For example, this title is one that is offered by the Google Spreadsheet program, but it's not terribly descriptive of the work we did. In this case, the data comes from a coffee cup lab test where we tested the cooling of water in a coffee cup. We'll put something more appropriate here by typing it in the appropriate box. Cooling of hot water in a coffee cup. That seems a little more appropriate, although I notice a spelling error. That's easy to fix. And once everything looks okay, you'll notice that the graph takes on the new title. There are other things that you can change here. For example, if you would like to give your chart a subtitle or alter the horizontal and vertical axes labels, those can be accomplished as well. Note your graph already has vertical and horizontal axis labels because when you created the chart, you highlighted them as well as the data. That's a trick you're going to want to learn. Many times you're asked to add a trend line to a graph. A trend line is found under the series option of the graph, and you'll notice that there is a trend line option that is exposed when you click on this. Different kinds of trend lines can be created: linear, polynomial, logarithmic, etc. At this level of our work, I suggest that you try different ones until you find one that fits the data pretty well. Linear looks good in this case, so we'll stay with that, but sometimes you may want to try changing it. There are lots of other options for you to explore that alter coloring, adding grid lines, etc. I'll leave it up to you to find those, but those are the basics that you need. When you're satisfied with your graph, close the chart editor and move your graph over next to your table by clicking on it and dragging it where you like. Remember that if you ever need to edit the graph again, 3 dots appear in the upper right corner. Click on these and you'll see that Edit Chart is an option that you may use to open up the chart editor once again. Let's take a look at the Instruction tab and see how we've done. We created a scatter plot, so we can mark that off. The next instructions asked you to make sure that your graph has an appropriate title and axis labels. That's done as well. We added the trend line from step 5, mark that done, and now you need to answer wrap-up questions. Click on the Wrap-Up tab, and you'll see that you have a workspace for answering questions. I'm not going to go through the answers, that would make this too easy, but you want to remember some basics. Always turn the question around, TTQA. Use evidence in your responses whenever possible, and make sure that you type in complete sentences that are grammatically correct and use punctuation, capitalization, good spelling, etc. That's it for now. Best of luck creating graphs in science.